Hi there, Trisha with Petals and Pages Flower Farm in Fernley, Nevada. I am jumping on here to show you how to wash your dahlias once you've pulled the tubers out of the ground. I wanted to show you first my washing station. So it has not been this sophisticated, and I have that word in parenthesis because it's not really sophisticated even now. But compared to last year, it's much more sophisticated. My husband created this standing wash station for buckets during the summer and then tubers for the fall. So if you don't have a standing wash station, that's okay. You can do this in your bathtub. You can do it in a utility sink in your garage or your laundry room. You could do it in your sink in your kitchen, although I don't recommend that 100% because there's a lot of dirt that falls. So you have to put something down to catch the dirt that falls. We had an old, last year's what we used here, and then we're going to use again, but we've just raised it. This is the bottom of a horse trough. So let me lift this up here. Okay, there we are. So the bottom of that, he has drilled a hole out, and then I don't know what all those parts are called, but a bolt and a nut, I think, to hold the water in the bottom of this. And this is really when we're washing, we will eventually take that off and drain all the water and then pick up all of the dirt and put it back where the dahlias were pulled from. So that is something that you have to modify if you want to make it easier for you. This is something that he also built. It's just reused wood, and he's put some chicken wire on top. This, as you will see soon, I will put the Dahlia clumps up here, wash it so all the dirt in the water falls down here, and then I have my Dahlia clump that is nice and clean on the top. We also use this to screen compost. We have two screeners, one that has bigger holes and then this one that's got the smaller chicken wire holes. Here is my hose that I have hooked up. I chose a day that is, I think we're at 50 degrees right now. I did that on purpose because anything below that, our hoses and our water tends to freeze. So I chose specific days to do this. A couple days ago we were in the mid-20s and we wouldn't have been able to do this because we'd have ice in our hose. So I've got that turned on. My spigot is right there. I have a drying station here, which again, I specifically chose this day so that once I have washed the Dahlia clumps, that they will hang out right here for a few hours before I bring them into the garage to be split. So that I picked up on the side of the road. We did not pay a single cent for that. That was just a lucky happenstance. So and then over here, I have pulled some dahlias. This is just a fraction of what I've got to clean. I have separated them in the crates. Let's get started. Okay, so I work in variety. So I only like to clean and work with one variety. And today, or I'm sorry, right now, we are going to work with Sweet Natalie. So she's going to be our first to get cleaned today. I always keep this. This is the stake that was in the ground after I planted them in the ground. I pull that out just to make sure I'm not losing track of which dahlias I am cleaning. All right, so here is a clump, a dahlia clump that is covered in soil. It was just pulled out of the ground. Looking real good. Look at all those tubers. So let's get to cleaning. My hose setup is really basic, you guys. Here's my hose, and I have a spray nozzle that is I can control. I don't like the wands. I like the ones that you can control and is not running while you're not using it. Obviously, you know, water conservation is top for us in the desert. So, and then you want something that's got quite a bit of power, although most of the time you don't really need a lot of power, but if there's some tubers that are stuck, you need a little bit of oomph to get the dirt out in between them. So, all right, let's start. So I grab here at the stem, the base of the stem. There's the underside of the tuber, and there's the top of the tuber clump. So we're just going to give it a nice light spray, and you can already see some of the dirt fall off of the clump. You will get wet, so I suggest you wear some sort of raincoat or do it on a semi-warm day so you're not frozen. You can also wear gloves. I am just an anti-glove wearer. I don't like gloves, never have, probably never will. All right, so here we have it. Look at that beauty. So here is the mother tuber, and some mother tubers are, large, some are small. This one is really quite large. And it looks like this hole, she has completely sacrificed herself, likely for the betterment of her children. Don't we all, huh? So she is not going to be viable, and if I were to store her, she would completely be rotted, mushed, and likely rot any of the other tubers stored near her out as well. So she is going to be put into the really nice production on her. All right, so here's the water. After I've pulled the sifter off, there's quite a bit of water in here, but there's actually a lot of dirt you can't see. Let's check it out and see how much there is. So, oh yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a handful of dirt right there. So I have just released the plug and allowing the water to drain out of the tub that we just washed the Dahlia clumps in. You walk around here to show you. Oh, it looks like I need to move it a little bit closer. We have this brick down here so it doesn't damage the soil and it kind of spreads out a little bit, but it looks like I need to move it forward. So let's do that. Is to have all the water sift off and water this tree, and the dirt will stay at the bottom of this basin, and then we will clean the basin out, put all the dirt in a bucket. Here is that same tub with the vast majority of the water dumped out of it through that. So all of this I will scrape out of here and put into a 5-gallon bucket, and then go put right back into the holes that the Dahlia clumps were in our flower beds. So we are done cleaning off this bit of Dahlia clumps. There's our Cafe au lait. There's our Brookside Sherry. Snowbound, Sweet Natalia's over there, and then we've got Lady Liberty under here drying. So from here, the dahlias will then be moved into where I split my dahlias. I do it in the garage because it is not as cold in the garage. I can turn on a heater. My hands and fingers are usually in water and are very cold at that point. So I like to have a little bit of heat in the garage, and that's where I will begin to split them and then eventually store them in our cooler that is also in our garage. So there you have it, folks. Hopefully this helped a little bit in the process of cleaning your Dahlia clumps.